Chess Plays here on lichess.org. Just getting started now. Had to adjust my screen capture for a second. I accepted 2 challenges, but it looks like both players were AFK. So this is the very first game. How's everyone doing today? Greetings to the Twitch chat as well as the YouTube chat. Hello, hello. Let me make a little tweet here, letting people know. All right. All right. Knight f6. I think I should play e5 here. Let's advance and attack that knight and see how black responds. Knight g4 maybe to attack this pawn. Arguably the pawn's a little overextended, but I don't mind. I think good attacking potential here. Hello, Numeroid. What's up to you? Hello, No Joke Chess, by the way. Duffman. Yeah, long time. Good to see you, Duffman. What's up, Handles? Hello, Polar Cow. Let's play Queen e2. Queen e2 or Bishop f4 is kind of a tough call between those. Hello, Travel Girl. What's up, Sarah? Antro. K. Buckby, good to see you. Der Seidler, Abacus Finch, Harry Chess, Fit Tony. And hello to our YouTube friends as well. As usual, we are on both platforms. Okay, h3. Let's see what black plans to do with the knight. Really, knight h6 is the only move. And I'm going to take that and probably just castle now. We'll see if black castles or... All right, black persists in trying to play pawn moves. I'll play rook d1, just take aim down the file. Yeah, greetings. So once again, everyone can challenge 3+0 blitz. If you do exclamation point challenge in the Twitch chat, you can get a direct link to it. So has to be 3+0 standard chess. And that's really the only rule. Be kind. Be kind to one another. Okay, and now knight e4, knight takes e5 looks a little annoying. Maybe I have something there, but I think I'm going to probe instead. I'm going to try to take aim against this pawn. Yeah, take here now. Looks like black's going to castle queenside. Unusual for this opening. And when that happens, maybe knight e4. I'm thinking this might be a decent option. Looking to come into d6. If knight takes e5, knight takes e5. Queen takes e5, I can play knight d6 check. So that appears to win the queen. Oh, thank you. Yeah, you like that tree? I put it up just for you guys. It's looking a little thin. I need some presence down below. Yeah. All right. Okay. Think we're good to go. I completed my tweet. Letting the people know where we're at today. Yeah, a little bit early today. Thanks to No Joke Chess for being able to accommodate. I had to start about 30 minutes earlier than normal. Now let's go rook c1. This looks a little bit awkward for black because the queen can't go anywhere. Black has to block with a piece on the file, which could lead to tactical problems. Okay, knight comes back. And I think I'm just going to go here. Attack this pawn. Maybe play knight d6. We shall see. Let's go knight f6. Knight d6, I'm a little worried about some f6 sort of undermining. This way I feel like I can keep better control over the position. Although this is going to come down to time. All right, give me that. Go back now. And maybe. Let's just advance the H-pawn. Why not? Looks pretty strong. And black runs out of time. Thank you, Captain, for the game. Oh, Captain, my Captain. Yeah, I think you defended pretty well there after knight h6. I could sense you were hesitant to castle kingside, and probably for good reason. So I think you made it work, honestly. Probably right around here is critical. If you come up with something good in that position, now then the engine likes white, but I thought somewhere right around here, maybe you could do something more active, but it seems like white is in control. I was thinking if knight takes e5, we get this trade, and then the check dropping in, and I can win the queen. So thanks for the game. All right, a lot of challenges here. Let's roll. Lambros GM. Good luck. Yeah, I haven't played Title Tuesday. It hasn't really worked for my schedule so much lately. But I have been playing more Blitz. So I've been playing players around my rating too. So I feel like I'm getting stronger with my 3-minute Blitz. All right, let's be principled here. We're going to play the Austrian attack, F4. 1,000 rated GM. Yes, that's right. Okay, I'll play my little signature A3 variation. Very sneaky move. Knight BD7. I feel like that's an inaccuracy because E5 creates some problems for this knight. Where is this knight going to roam? These squares are covered. If knight H5, then G4. We know this idea, right? I feel like I talk about this idea in every edition of Lichess Plays. Yeah, that knight is stuck on the side of the board. Hello to Darn K, by the way, on YouTube. Greetings. Tufan on YouTube asked, how many challenges have I got? Over 50 at the moment. Hello to Yanni as well. Asking if I could play a check something. I think they meant check Benoni. Check Benoni's interesting. Maybe I can work that in. Talk about the championship. Yeah, what do you guys want me to say so far? What are your thoughts on the World Championship thus far through 3 games? Mute this if you don't want to hear any discussion. Maybe you haven't seen the most recent game. But I think by now, if you're watching this, you've probably seen the result, know what's going on in the World Championship. What are your guys' thoughts so far? Are you not entertained? Were you hoping for more? Are the press conferences more entertaining than the games? Der Seidler said, awesome game 2. Yes, I agree. Game 2 is pretty cool. Both players are trying hard to take first blood. Yes, indeed. I think I can grab this. Speaking of blood. Magnus's candid post-game press conference answers. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Magnus is super honest. I saw some discussion of, like, is Magnus saying he doesn't remotely care about which broadcast he likes to follow or what's best to follow. But he's smirking when he says that, and that's entirely consistent with Magnus's persona. He is a brutally honest guy. And he has no time for questions and things and people who he perceives might be wasting his time. And it's nothing personal, I think. Nepo has chances? Yeah, absolutely. Pretty balanced, right? I did think it was a moral victory for Magnus that Nepo was essentially compelled to switch up his line in the Ruy Lopez, right? So in the first game, Nepo played the H3 anti-martial, but today he played that A4 line on move 8. So I think if you're Magnus, that's a bit of a moral victory. It indicates that Nepo couldn't repair that line or find some sort of edge on short notice. All right, now we're just going to motor the H-pawn on through. Here we go. Okay, thank you, Lambros, for the game. Yeah, so gotta watch the G4 idea. That's why knight BD7, I do believe that's a mistake. You want to leave that square open for your knight. So I would castle here if I were you. The point of A3, by the way, this is rather obscure looking, but If black plays c5, which is a common idea in this line, take, and then queen a5, looking for knight takes e4 as well as queen takes c5, you can actually play the move b4 here. And I picked up this idea from an article in the magazine New in Chess way back in the early 2000s. And there's a column in that magazine, or there was at that time, called SOS. And it recommends just these like unusual lines in the opening that you can spring on people. And this is one that they analyzed against the Peerts one time. So yeah, gotta leave that square a little more available. After e5, you probably do have to go knight g8, although that's not pleasant. I agree. Okay. Kimia, good luck. Emblem says, having the commentary from Fabiano on the chess.com stream has been great. Yeah, I've tuned in a little bit to Fabiano, Hess, Danny. Pretty enlightening. Yeah, Fabiano's insights are awesome. We're just spoiled for choice when it comes to commentaries, right? Hello, Sirius, by the way. I am not commentating on the World Championship in any formal capacity anywhere. So no, I'm not doing streams or anything like that. I'm actually going to be out of town next weekend for a few days. I'm going on vacation. So yeah, I couldn't commit to the whole thing. Okay, let's bring this back. Maybe I can get c4 in at some point, or just get the bishop out. Hello, Honglak. Yeah, the bishop c4 idea. Agreed. Super common in the Sicilian. A lot of people play the white side of the Sicilian as if it were an Italian game. Not the best line, but yeah, you will encounter it a ton if you play the black side of the Sicilian. So if d4, there's knight e4. So I think I'm just going to trade. And probably just develop here. Bishop d7. Okay, knight b5. Now this pawn is hanging. If I take it, I might have some difficulties there. So is Kimia really going to bring the knight in here? I'm kind of curious if Kimia will do that. So let's put the question to her knight. That knight might not be coming back. It might be caught in enemy territory. John, would Magnus be a good coach? He can't explain how he knows things. He just knows them. I think Magnus would be a very good coach, but the biggest factor would be whether he wants to, give his best coaching efforts in that capacity, right? I think he would be phenomenal, because I had the pleasure of sitting next to Magnus, filming a couple Chessable courses, and the way he describes his thought process is so crystal clear, actually. I have no doubt he would be a phenomenal coach, but it would come down to his motivation. If he's into it, yeah. I mean, there's people who would shell out a lot of money for Magnus's coaching. That's for sure. Why only casual? This is rated, actually. But you can do casual or rated. Up to you. Bishop c4 is called the hillbilly. Some expert attempted it against me. Well, the hillbilly attack is in fact played against the Caro-Kann. So yeah, it's bishop c4 against the Caro-Kann. So not quite, but pretty similar. All right, so I'm looking to checkmate down the diagonal. Kimia's defending, though. Let's see if she'll play f3 here. She does. Okay. Now let's go queen e2. This is kind of the clinical way to play this, I think. Just look for a queen trade, up a piece. That's correct. Boulder attack is bishop c4 in the Sicilian. That's right. Yeah, hello to Belgian novice. Hello, Gold Cat. Oh, is it cut off on the edge? Ah, that's annoying. Yeah, I had to adjust my... Here, let me see if I can fix this a little bit. Yeah, sorry about that. I had to adjust my screen capture like right before I went live. All right, now you can see the ratings. Thanks for letting me know. All right, and bishop takes f3 while tempting, I think, does not work. I'm just going to play h5 in this position. Just bide my time. Get rid of any back rank threats. Take here now. Hello, Richter's neighbor. The great Danton says Magnus's communication is next level. Sharp, crystal clear, and displays total awareness. I tend to agree. Yeah. You know, I think he can seem disinterested at times, but again, that kind of goes back to what I was talking about a moment ago, where yeah, he generally might be. But when he's hitting on all cylinders and truly interested in what's happening on the board or, you know, in a chess conversation, he's always dropping bombs in terms of insight. All right, so I'm just cleaning up the pawns here. Still got to move fast, though. Let's make way for this H-pawn to run. Take this one just for good measure. Keep everything defended. Everything defended. And here we go. Promotion imminent. All right, just putting the finishing touches here. Let's keep that black king, or the white king rather, in a little box. And checkmate. Okay, thank you, Kimya. So your e5 pawn, pushing e5, left that pawn a bit overextended. I guess you can play bishop f4, queen e2 here. It's not ideal. I might still try to attack it, but that pawn is worth defending. So I would say you probably shouldn't push e5, but I would really look for a different weapon against the Sicilian. If you guys are looking for something easy to play against the Sicilian that makes a good deal of fundamental sense, I would recommend looking into the Alapin, which is the c3 Sicilian. So c3 on move 2, looking to go d4. That way, if black plays a standard move like that, you can get the two pawns side by side. All right. So thank you, Kimya, for the game. Who's up next? Hello, Ryan. On YouTube says, John, will Magnus play e4 at any point in the match? And if so, will Jan respond with his candidates prep the French? I would doubt he plays the French. I could be wrong. I know he is a French player. Good luck, Andre, by the way. But that seems like a risky choice in a world championship match. As to whether Magnus will play e4, I would bet he does at some point. Yeah. Hello, Toby Wan. I took with the queen. I don't know about that. Probably take with the pawn is better. But I couldn't help my Scandinavian instincts. Yeah, I do, Toby Wan, by the way. Best way to get in touch with me is to go to my YouTube channel and go to the About section. Hi, John. Do you think Nepo has not yet managed to surprise Magnus? Also, does he have creativity to trouble Magnus? Has he surprised Magnus? I'd say not in any major way. Certainly not with his white games. With black, perhaps, although I feel like they kind of surprised each other in that game, game 2. Game 2 was instructive for a variety of reasons, but one thing that stood out, and here I'm going to get the fork on the two minor pieces. Do you guys know, I think it was like move, I don't know, like 11 in game 2, where Nepo played this very awkward-looking move, queen d7. I thought that was such an interesting and instructive moment, like playing a move that looks like it gums up your development because it takes away squares from the queenside bishop as well as the knight. But in the moment, it was correct. Okay, now, hopefully Ander doesn't blunder this. This will be a test. Queen takes is going to run into bishop d4. Yeah. Kind of seemed that like white was going to take that pawn based on queen e2, so you got to play a move like king h1 first before you can threaten that. John, have you ever known a player to walk around as much as Nepo has been? I haven't been looking at the camps too much in game, but it does seem like he walks a fair amount. Yes, I do know players like that. Absolutely. There's some players who can't sit still at the board. They make a move and they're immediately up from their chair. That is very much a thing. Okay, now rook f1 would be a common move here. But yeah, white missed the point of bishop g2. Or of queen f2, rather, setting up the threat of queen takes g2 mate. So we talk about this pretty much every week, but you got to respect those diagonal threats, especially the long-range diagonal ideas. Yep. Thank you, Ander. Thanks for the game. Yeah, and just be aware of that pattern. When you have two minor pieces on the same rank with one square in between, they are susceptible to a pawn fork. So if you want to remove this knight when it jumps in, got to play bishop takes or maybe even a move like knight e2 to prepare to take. But this way walks right into the fork. Okay. Good luck to BN146. Let's play knight f3 in this game. Oh yeah, Chessable's getting a lot of advertising time in at the World Championship. That is true. I think they're on the main display in the background. All right, should I play a Catalan inspired by Magnus? Even though it seemed like he didn't like his position at all out of the opening in that game. Do I mind playing lower-rated players like that? It's fun. Yeah, I find it instructive. It's great to chat with you guys. I like it. Okay. So no b5 defending the c4 pawn. Nothing like that. All right, let's play queen takes c4. Now black will play b5 more than likely. That buys time for the bishop to come here. But white has recovered the pawn. Hey, what's up, fish emoji? Will the Scandinavian or the French get played in a world championship first? Ooh. You know, my heart says Scandinavian, but I would have to go with the French, unfortunately, as much as I dislike the French. The opening, that is, not the people. Okay, bishop b7. I guess I'll play this old main line with bishop d2. Kind of an awkward-looking move, but there's a couple points to it. You might park the bishop on a5 to pressure this. White also may play b4 if given the chance to clamp the c5 square. c5 and a5. In fact, if you guys want to see a very instructive game that Magnus actually lost in this opening, check out his game against Vladimir Kramnik from back in like 2008. Kramnik like absolutely schooled Magnus on the white side of a Catalan. It was a strategic masterpiece, kind of a miniature actually. Okay, now here, knight bd7 is not supposed to be good. I can't remember if I play b4 right away or if I play bishop a5 first. I think I should go bishop a5 immediately. Let's attack this. And I might wall in my bishop, but watch for the clamp that can develop on the queen side. Why don't super GMs play the Scandinavian at top level events? They don't seem to trust it as much. Yeah, it is a little riskier at the higher levels. I won't lie. Okay, so c5 is not yet a threat, so let's play b4 anyways, though, just before black gets a chance to play knight d5. Because a lot of the value of the Scandinavian is in the surprise factor of it. Because white just doesn't spend a lot of time studying it at the amateur levels. But at the higher levels, they study those sidelines, and even if they haven't studied it a lot, they can usually feel their way through it. So second, third tier openings are considered more risky for sure. But yep, you'll see it in rapid blitz, occasionally classical. Magnus has actually beat Fabiano in classical with the Scandinavian at the Olympiad back in like 2014, I think. Nah, Scandy's not refuted, no. Listening to Svidler and Kramnik's commentary on Levitov chess has been fantastic. I've heard that. Yeah, I haven't tuned into that stream. So Levitov Chess is like a Russian chess site. Is that right? Ooh, 95. Isn't 95 an issue? Attack the queen. Open up the attack on the bishop. Queen takes d4 is basically forced here. There's no way to stay defending the bishop. And I'm going to win an exchange for a pawn. Oh, yeah, certainly, Helen Detroit. Thank you for the game. You know, I haven't been watching a whole lot of commentary, I got to be honest. The games start really early my time, 6:30 in the morning, which is quite early for me. So, you know, I'm usually waking up and they're 2 to 3 hours into the game. And I might tune into some commentary when I'm eating breakfast or something, but I'm like clicking around the streams. I've looked at the chess.com commentary. I like their format. Geary and Judith Polgar, pretty cool. I haven't checked out Levitov Chess. I'm going to do that, though. Yeah, and BN resigned here. Oops. Did not mean to do that. So in this position, right here, bishop d2, black usually plays bishop e4. And you can see there's a ton of theory in this line. A lot of games played. Bishop e4 to inconvenience the white queen. And then they often even go back and kind of claim that this has not been a productive maneuver for white. Because then, if bishop a5, black could play knight c6. Black has not committed the knight to d7. Yeah, and it looks like knight bd7. That is a bit dubious because of what I did. Bishop a5, attacking the pawn. Rook c8. Oh, it doesn't like b4, though. Okay, so I might have made a mistake here. Knight bd2 is better. Why is b4 weak? Ah, knight b8. Clever. Knight b8 going backwards to try to come here. I'll have to keep that in mind. So knight bd2 may be a bit more accurate and then work up to b4. Try to get a clamp going. But pretty good results for white in this line. Okay, thank you, BN, for the game. Hey, Richter's neighbor, good luck. You're up. Thank you, Team 9018. Thank you very much. All right, we'll play e5. I don't play a lot of e4, e5, and I will tell you guys why. Little secret. Well, it's not really a secret. If you play e4, e5 as black, you have to be ready for a lot of random gambits. Scotch Gambit, Danish Gambit, stuff like Evans Gambit. Yes, you guys are right. You knew where I was going with that. All of the gambits, which, you know, I always wonder what would happen if Jan played Scotch Gambit against Magnus, you know, or vice versa. Do you think they're ready for it? I've always wondered that. Probably they are, and they review those lines from time to time. But, you know, King's Gambit, too. Forgetting one of the most prominent gambits of all. Probably they're ready for it. And it is a big risk. But certainly at the amateur level, you got to be prepped. You got to be willing to throw down. Okay, A4. This is what we saw today at the World Championship, right? We're recreating the Pomnashi versus Carlsen, game 3. All right, D3. I'll play D6. Standard stuff. Okay, knight BD2. I'm going to try something a little sophisticated looking. I'm going to try a Breyer-like maneuver. You know, the Breyer variation. We're going to depart from Jan and Magnus. Reposition the knight. Yeah, I didn't want to play rook e8 and, you know, potentially try to copy well-trodden paths. This has probably been played before plenty of times as well. Yeah, you do look kind of pro when you play a move like that. Agreed. Okay, knight g3. So knight f5 is an issue now. I think I should play knight c5 here. I'm going to do it. We're going to go after this bishop. Do you guys think the Jan versus Magnus game is in the Lichess database already? Probably is. Oh, he's giving me this pawn. I'm going to take it. I might have to weather an attack. But let's see what white wants to do. Hey, what's up, Michael Alexander? Oh, thank you, Pedro on YouTube. Says, I've always appreciated your content, but I really liked it more when you played IMs and GMs. Yeah, I have been doing some streams on chess.com recently where I played a bunch of blitz against title players. So that's been fun. Yeah, these streams tend to be more instructive, laid back. Okay, so I'm up a pawn, but my opponent has the bishop pair. Ooh, I really dislike b3, though. Why shut in that bishop? You got to ask this bishop's opinion about the move b3. It's not going to give you a positive answer. Okay, now do I go and solidify here? b4. There is bishop b2, so I might need to take that bishop, as bad as it looks. I may need to go capture it, but let's just see. b4, bishop here. Yeah, I don't think I have too many options at that point, so let's do this, and I'll go c5 now. That poor bishop is crying. I know, I wish there was a way I could avoid taking it, perhaps, but I didn't see a good way, unfortunately. All right, let's develop this bishop here. This pawn's a little bit loose. I got to be careful about that. I also have to be careful about my time. Richter's neighbor is pretty fast. Okay. What now? Let's take. I'm going to take for simplicity's sake. Then I'm going to go here. And we're going to maneuver this knight. This knight might actually go to b8 again. Well, a different knight. So, knight b8 played again. And this way, I can control the a5 square. I can get ready to push my a pawn if I want. I think he was trying to go for d4, by the way. But we'll try to prevent that. Yeah, he really wants d4. I'm going to, again, try to prevent it for a move. And now I'll push. He could try here. That would be interesting, but no. Loading up. Ooh, pushes. Is Richter's neighbor losing his patience? Watch this. Watch this. I have an idea. I don't think it'll happen in game. If takes, rook takes a5. Not only can take the rook, but I also have a little back ranker idea in mind. Yeah. All right, let's take here. Oh, I dropped this. He doesn't see it. Does he see? Oh, he saw it. All right. Now I have to try to flag him. Because I have 3 pawns for the piece, but I gave it back. He's giving it back. Time scramble. Oh, back rank. I got to watch the long range moves. Like queen takes b3. Not even that long range. Just a few squares over, but I missed it. I was thinking, I have this threat here, maybe knight c2 and also knight takes b3, but in fact, knight takes b3 is not a threat there. Yeah, good game, Richter's neighbor. Appreciate it. So you occasionally see knight b8 as an idea in these types of positions. Again, not what was played today. And I think Richter's neighbor probably actually played it pretty well. Yeah, so like this is an important juncture. A lot of different moves played. Knight b8, played a few times. Drawish move on limited outings. Yeah, I don't think today's game has been put in the database yet, unfortunately for us. I know, right, Duffman? But thanks for the game, Richter's neighbor. Probably you can get away with sacrificing a pawn in this style in the same way that you did, but if it were me, I think I would play like a takes b5 right around here, or maybe a5 even. Like advance so that you can do this and not lose the a pawn. That looks wise. Thanks for the game. Axum, you're up. The other day I got a quote from you. Oh, that's right, Axum. Yeah, good luck. The other day I got a quote from you when waiting for a game at Lichess. Oh, yeah, they have those quotes in like the arenas, right? Or quoted various places on the site. Was it my comments on the move 1e4? They have a funny one that they pulled. All right, this is kind of a stodgy line. Very dependable for black. A little bit passive, arguably. You put pawns on light squares like this. Let's play d4. He's going to play the knight back to b1 more than likely. I'll try to play this active for now. We'll go here. Yeah, rook d1 looks odd, but I think his idea was to prepare d4. You see that every once in a while. I used to know the theory of this line a little bit better than I do now, but we'll see what happens. d3, I'm going to go bishop d6. Hello, Ross, by the way, on YouTube. Thank you, Drew. Appreciate it. Yeah, this looks a little bit wrong how white handled this. I think they usually go d4 immediately here. I don't think the position as it currently stands is bad for white or anything. Like d3, okay, e5. This feels like it's a little overextended. Knight e4, maybe queen f3, trying to embarrass the knight. Knight d7, certainly a good default option here. Knight e4 is the principled move if I can somehow trap or just win that pawn outright. I mean, maybe something like this. Seems interesting. Let's see how white responds. Ah, okay. Rook d1 right here. Yeah, I have seen that theme before, but I wasn't sure about that exact position. What courses do I recommend on Chessable? I'm around 2200, Lichess Rapid. Yeah, I think that's good enough where it's hard to give you like a blanket recommendation. I'm biased because I made the videos for it, but I really like the 100 Endgames You Must Know course. I think it's a pretty excellent resource. I'm going to go here and attack the pawn. Probably f4 will be played. So I may not ultimately win that pawn on e5, but white has had to go through contortions. Could even play this move now. It's actually just a triple attack, isn't it? Hit the bishop, hit the pawn, hit this pawn as well. But yeah, you might like some targeted opening resources. That's certainly a potential thing you might be interested in at your level. Maybe some calculation manuals like the woodpecker method. You'll get it back, Michael. You'll recover your form. Predictions on game 4 opening. Ooh, interesting. Let's take this one. Game 4 opening. Let's take... Wait a minute. Undefended queen. So I should probably take this way. I predict that we'll see d4 again from Magnus. I don't feel strongly about it, though. I don't think he's going to go to e4 too soon. So I'll go with d4. Okay. Oh no, my queen. She's trapped. White has no time, though. All right, so thank you, Axe, for the game. Yep, spent just a little too long in the opening. We can check that position on a theoretical level here briefly. Yeah, so we're following a lot of games at this point. So it looks like at this juncture, unless I'm unaware of something, rook d1 is not played. I think you might have got your lines confused a little bit. White usually just advances d4 straight away, which is possible. You might have been thinking about a slightly different variation. Yeah, because black can play knight f6 here, castles, then like, I don't know, bishop c5, maybe rook d1. Yeah, this is a line where rook d1 is played. It makes more sense now because you can't go d4. I actually think I have some games with this. Probably not on Lichess, but I believe I played Greg Shahadi in a couple games in this. And now the idea is bishop d4 to block white from playing d4. So this is maybe a little more trendy. I would bet that's what you were confusing it with. But when black goes knight bd7, seems like you can go ahead and just play d4 because black is not contesting that option. More than likely, black's going to trade down like this, and we have a very Scandinavian, or even Caro-Kann as we're in, Scandinavian Caro type position. All right. Polhek, good luck. Let's play in English. Your opinion of Fabiano, do you think he has a better hairstyle or chess style? Huh. I like his chess for sure. I don't have any strong opinions on his hair. I mean, Nepo and Magnus both have pretty cool hair. I give Nepo credit. I mean, there's not too many people who can pull off the man bun, but he makes it work somehow. I played bishop g5 before c takes d5, by the way. I usually don't do that. Okay, bishop d3. I think white should be a little bit better here. Kind of a quintessential 2 versus 1 center pawn situation in the middle of the board. All right. Should I try to cheese my opponent? e5. This is a threat here. I think I'm just going to play bishop c2, though, to defend this pawn. I'm not sure I'm ready to commit to e5. It would give up some squares. So I want to keep those pawns side by side. If I get chased, so be it. I'll probably just play here. But let's make black do the chasing. Still waiting for the fashion videos on YouTube. Yeah. There was some chatter as to whether we would see Nepo with a different hairstyle. But he stuck to the man bun. Another Catalan? Maybe. I somehow don't think we'll see a Catalan in Game 4. But you never know. World Championship matches have a way of repeating openings ad nauseum. They get into these little theoretical battles in certain lines. Magnus is so slippery, though, with his prep. He's very talented at picking out lines that will be uncomfortable or maybe not as known to his opponents. All right, so maybe black has some superfluous knights going on here. They're kind of stepping on each other. So let's play h4. Unusual move, but I'm going to try to play h5 and banish the knight to the glorious h8 square. I would love a King's Gambit. You know, the King's Gambit would be amazing, yeah. If Nepo were to play the King's Gambit at any point in this match, even if it somehow got to rapid tiebreaks or blitz tiebreaks, that would just make him more of a legend than he already is. Because he made a course on the King's Gambit for Chessable, which, you know, Play Magnus owns. And then if you were to play it against Magnus himself, I mean, poetry. I wonder what line Magnus would play against the King's Gambit. What do you guys think? Because Nepo has had a chance twice to play it, but he didn't play f4 on move 2. But it's just an interesting thought, right? How much time did Magnus and his team allocate to prepping against the King's Gambit? if you were to guess? I have no idea. Is it just the type of thing you look at a few lines and you're like, like black's just better here? Let's play d5 now. I'm going to try to open the e file. Probably 2 bishop c5. That's a line I like. That's a fun, easy one to play. Okay, very dangerous position for black. They're ducking and covering. I feel like I can almost win material here. This pawn is loose, though, to be fair. So is this, though. Probably just taking that is best. But I want to maybe do something like that, but nah. I think this is pure double attack. More than for Bongcloud? Yeah, I'm inclined to agree. Just the plain old double attack was working here. Okay, let's take this one. All right. We'll take here now. And if the rook comes in, then I have bishop h7, and I'll win a piece. Win the queen, actually. Little threat. All right. And don't drop a rook, John. All right. Thank you, Pullhack, for the game. I think if you play this way, the capture with the knight on d5, you should probably take with your queen here. I think queen takes would be most consistent, because then you can try to swap the knights on d5 and end up with a pawn on d5. I think the way you played it's a little bit passive, where white gets the 2 pawns side by side. Generally, white's pretty happy with that, and will build up around those pawns. All right, thanks for the game. Chess Blood, good luck. What defeat OTB has bothered you the most? I still remember a game that I lost when I was rated about 2,000 to a 1,200 rated player in the first round of like a scholastic tournament with like scholarship money at stake. That was pretty brutal. And he was like a few years younger than me too, massively underrated, but still was like a 1,200. That sucked. I still remember the game when I was like probably 13, maybe 1,400, where I just outright hung a rook. That game still hurts. Some of you are like, I do that every game. Like, I don't dwell on it. But it hurts more if you do it in a long game. Trust me. Why did I lose the game? I just got outplayed, honestly. Like, he had some good prep. And this was like way back in maybe 2001-ish. Maybe 2000 even. And this 1,200 actually had some good prep and took me down. Yes, you got hit by some shade. Not all of you. Not all of you. Polar Cow says, I hung mate in 1 in a rapid game like a year ago. Then my opponent didn't see it. We're both close to 2,000 on Lichess. Yeah, those are interesting ones too, where you look at the game afterwards and you're like, oh my God, it was staring us right in the face. Hey, Ellie on YouTube. Good to see you too. Will we see a Sicilian in the World Championship? I'm going to say no until perhaps the late stages of the match, or if it happens to get to a tiebreak, then we might see a Sicilian. But, you know, if someone's down a game or two in the late stages of the match, I could see them risking it with the black pieces. I think for Magnus, he's going to be content with e4, e5. I don't see why he would really change much up right now, given how the first 2 games have gone with, or games 1 and 3, I should say. Still an open question, though, if Magnus plays 1 e4, what Nepo's going to rely on. Really tempted to play g5 here to undermine this, but I think it's a bad idea with all this going on. Maybe I can play queen e8 first. I might do this at some point. I'm going to keep open that option. BD Gambitier says, I fought for nearly 7 hours against a particularly unpleasant IM in 4 NCL, then resigned when I had a perpetual. Oh, dude, that's brutal too. I have done that as well. I one time resigned in a position where I had a perpetual check. It was against a grandmaster too. It was against Alejandro Ramirez. And a spectator actually pointed it out afterwards. It was an online game. It was like a game in 90 online. So not super, super high stakes, but still very annoying for that to happen. Ooh, I think I'm in a little bit of trouble here, by the way. I have to be very careful. Yeah, I missed something. I missed that rook here. He actually has knight takes h7. Chessblood can take that. So now I'm going to have to improvise. We're going to sack an exchange. Hate to do it, but desperate times, you know? I'm going to try to bring this knight into a blockading role and boot this knight. Keep it like relatively closed up. I think I'm going to have some pretty good compensation because of the strength of the bishop, but for sure white is better here. No doubt. Let's go here first. I remember Shanklin resigning against Geary in Wykense in a drawn endgame. He just stormed off when Geary told. Yeah, ooh, that was a brutal one too. I do remember that when he had the fortress. He just resigned. That is rough. Let's go here. I'm just trying to stop queen b5, but this knight is bound for e6. Knights make excellent blockaders of protected passed pawns. So again, the computer is going to say I'm worse in this position, but on a practical level, this feels pretty safe and playable to me. Hitting this pawn again, by the way. Okay, so white is missing it. Probably take. Could also be patient. But he has no time. Let's take. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, that's right, Michael. Just to show what I was worried about here, though. Thank you for the game, Chessblood. So right here, I think white embarked on the correct plan. Queen g4. I did a5, probably not a good move. And then my intention when playing queen e7, I saw knight g5, but I was just intending to go here and reinforce this pawn and then later kick the knight out, maybe bishop h6 or something. But I think it runs into this shot, and that would be painful, hitting the rook. And if king takes, queen takes, remember, don't forget about that bishop down here. It's assisting with the attack. It's the reason for the attack. Then I would have to go here and... Okay, here's a little quiz for you guys. How do you think this game would end from this position? White to move, what is the winning sequence? We're not going to dwell on this for too long. Yeah, it's actually pretty easy. In my head, I was making this more complicated than it has to be. Yeah, it's just a mate in two. Check, here, and mate. I was thinking, okay, white goes here, and then does this, and then goes here, and like tries to get this mate when this square's covered. Black would have to go here, but that's all unnecessary. Just bishop g6 is mate. So, yeah, Chessblood looks like they were well ahead, even if I don't play queen e7. So I think kind of a cramped position. This line's not the best, the way I played it. Not a big Pirtz guy. Got to know how to play with the lack of center here. I think c5 is kind of a dubious idea. Seems to give white a stable position, kind of like an Alapin. Probably like c6, queen c7, e5, or knight bd7, e5 is more reliable. Thanks to the game, Chessblood. Ooh, suspect agent. Is this the suspect agent on chess.com, though? Same username, but I don't think it's the same player. Suspect agent on chess.com is a good young player. He says, yes. Okay, we'll prove it. Or maybe you're just saying yes because you're glad you got a game. I'm glad to be playing you. Let's play... You know, let's play a line that Magnus has played before. Queen e6. Queen e2. You're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to play bishop e2. All right, I'm going to avoid a queen trade. We're going to go here. Maybe try for this. We'll see. This is like a don't try this at home moment, though, to be clear. I would not recommend this approach. Watch out for this, though. Do as I say, not as I do. Yes. Correct. I'm really tempted to do this. I think it must be played if I've come this far. Working the pin. Also, this threat. B5 is guarded. I mean, I feel a little bit exposed over here. But I don't see why this isn't just a good move. How to win with 3 queen e6 check. That's my next course coming out. Just kidding. Why is Sicilian a risk? Asks Dr. S. Good question. Yeah, at the top level, I think the prevailing opinion is that e5, e4, e5 is the way to purely try to equalize and slowly gain equality. Whereas the Sicilian, you're opening yourself up to the open Sicilian and, all the theory there, where a lot of the lines are quite sharp and principled and could go wrong for black. And white kind of gets to, in some variations of the main line, like choose what to do. However, of course, Magnus relied on the Sicilian as black and the Sveshnikov variation in particular in his 2018 World Championship, and it worked out very well for him. It's just you're immediately increasing the complexity in a game where your opponent has the white pieces and has presumably done a lot of work. Whereas e4, e5, you tend to be able to expect more stable positions out of that. So that to me is kind of the main difference. Should I throw a check in here? I'm not sure. I kind of feel like if I take queen a4 could be annoying. So I'm leaning towards the check, but there's still going to be issues with queen a4. Maybe not to the same extent, though. So yeah, let's play it. I believe in the original Alpha Zero white paper, when it was showing its preferences and playing itself over time as it got better and better, it became apparent that e5 was the move it could not find an advantage against, and hence why it often was switching to d4 or knight f3 on move 1 with the white pieces. So I gave up this pawn in order to get my knight out. I'm guarding this square, which is nice. Ooh, aggressive. Okay. Interesting move. Demands a precise response. I'm thinking I'm going to go here. Or should I go here? Maybe here, even better. Let's do that one. If king takes, I can take with a rook check. There I go here. And even though white can take my knight, I take, and I'm getting 2 for 1 because I win the bishop. Important. Nice king symmetry here on the d file. They're in opposition with one another. Hello, Tyler. Are you still involved with Chessable? Yeah, to some extent. Not in any operational way or day-to-day way. But still love to support the site. And, I like to see them grow as a co-founder of the site. Thank you, Suspect Agent, for the game. Yeah, so I think queen e2, not the best. You should play bishop e2, try to unblock your pieces and get to developing here. As played, feels like this position's kind of critical. Yeah, it looks like the engine is really not a fan of g3. Knight b5, by the way, if you ever play against this queen e6, queen g6 line, knight b5 is often an awkward move. The engine is calling for it right here, which makes sense because I'd have to go king d8. I have seen some lines like this. So, okay. Thanks for the game, Suspect Agent. Oh, hello, NATO Stup. Good luck to you. Greetings. Hopefully you're here and not AFK. All right. Well, we've been talking about the Sicilian. Let's play Sicilian. Yes, we sold the site to play Magnus back in 2019. It's been a while now, over 2 years. But a lot of the original people stayed on. That was, the intent of the deal. Yeah, good luck. Okay, we have Alapin. E6, knight f6. This is how I usually like to play this line. All right, so I can take now and try to give white double isolated pawn. So I'm going to go for that. Basically reckon that these pawns are weaknesses in the long run. That's what I'm going to argue. I think by calling himself Nedostup, he wants to shorten the Croatian word Nedostupan, which means unavailable, making your comment about him being offline kind of ironic. That is an interesting theory. However, this may or may not be a part of his name. But I like your theory better. Oh boy, we're getting some spam on YouTube. Beware. The mods are on it. Not even a Lichess live stream is immune from spam. Who's my favorite world champion? Ooh, great question. Man. That is a tough one. I mean, I like the strategic guys. I like Karpov, Capablanca. I like Lasker a lot. I think Lasker was a really interesting player. If we're going old school, certainly Magnus. Kramnik as well. Big fan of Kramnik. Debating whether I should break the pin or not here. Kind of think I should. So those are some of the top guys that come to mind for me. Minus Kalifman. That is an unpopular opinion. But yes, shout out to him. You go with Ruslan Ponomaryov as well. FIDE world champion. 2001, I think. All right, let's go here. I got to respect the threat of d5. d5 might still be interesting, but I'm going to risk it for now. I mean, Magnus, too, as a world champ. Certainly a very tempting choice. Why does no one talk about Steinitz? Probably because he was the very first world champion, so, he was like active in the late 1800s. Been a while. I will say this. I think I could take Steinitz in a match. I would bet on myself over Wilhelm Steinitz. No offense to him. But John in 2021 versus Steinitz in like 1895. You're going down, Wilhelm. Steinitz pretty inactive on Twitter. Yeah, he's not posting any fire memes. That's a good point. All right, I have potentially a tactic here, but I'm not sure of anything like super strong. Can try to do that, but he has bishop a4. Like b4 kind of suggests itself, but he always has bishop a4 here. I think I should actually maybe go for a tactic like this. I don't know, though. I don't like it. It releases all the tension, so I'm going to go here instead. How about Lasker? That's when it starts to get tougher. I agree with what Star King says. Lasker's games hold up a lot better than Steinitz. Yeah. I do agree. Okay, this is a beautiful position for the two knights. I love it, I love it, I love it. Could have won a pawn there with take, and then rook takes c3, but I like the knight position even more. These knights like these stable squares, right? Hello, Tomas. Greetings. Again, I can try to go for material. Maybe I will do it like this. And then rook takes c3. But the strange effect of these types of moves is that white gains a little more freedom, you know? But it's a pretty compelling pawn, so I'm going to go for it. Ooh, rook b3, though. Rook b3. Good point. I must play this now, I think. Because if I take there, take here on my knight, and rook c8 is a threat. So that's an issue. Oh, I should have taken that. Okay, fortunately, I still can. But that was a hanging bishop. I was like, I'm not going to take it on the move prior, but then I could have taken it on the next move. All right, and now I'm going to try to trick him with my final move, castles. Oh, I got the trick at the end. Those knights, man. Those knights. Thanks for the game, Netostup. Yeah, tricky one. I think you probably had some chances if you played a little more aggressively. Like, I think here you got to play d5, in which case you might be better. I don't know. It's complicated. Engine likes black a little bit at this point, but very complex. I was thinking d5 was thematic because I need a couple moves before I can castle or get my king to safety. Yeah, I was intending to do this and then b4. And then try to take on d5 with the knight. But to me, this looks a little more promising. Let's say if this happens, then what happened in the game? At least you're getting some play here. Then probably towards the end, yeah, rook takes c3 is a big mistake, evidently. I should do this and then probably knight b4. Yeah, that's the way to win material. Wins in exchange. Not the way I did it. Rook takes c3, rook b3, and now, to my horror, I have knight e2. But to my horror, I realized that takes runs into rook c8. And I'm punished for my king being in the middle. Yeah, thanks for the game, Matty Showbiz. Good game, good game. But I think overall in the opening, you want to avoid this scenario with the double isolated pawns. I think as a rule, you should respond to bishop g4 with bishop e2 to avoid that. Okay. Let's play d4 in this game. Good luck. Maybe a Black Mar-Demer gambit. Could transpose to a French or a Caro-Kann. No, accepted. Oh, that's interesting, Polar Cow. Polar Cow says, according to the CAPS rating thing, Wilhelm Steinitz's projected ELO nowadays would be a little over 2,300. That sounds about right to me. And of course, then we get into the debate like, well, you know, he didn't have access to modern tools, which is a very good point. He didn't. How do I think Morphy would perform in the modern day? Ooh, man. Yeah, very tough to say. I mean, I think his style would be too dubious, just completely in 1850s form. But you give him chess base, chessable, engines, the ability to talk chess with other top players. Who knows? Sky's the limit for that kind of talent. But no, I think modern day grandmasters would eat a player like Morphy up. But I think a lot of that's just due to the difference in our theoretical understanding of chess nowadays. All right, let's try to apply some pressure. I am down a pawn after all, so I got to play active. Tommy says Morphy would be at Washington Square Park, which is a famous chess park in New York City, and go by the name Paulie Mo. He would be the strongest player in the park, though. No doubt. He would have a great style for hustling people in the park. Okay, watch out for this threat now. The position opening up for the pair of bishops. I think black's still fine, though, if black plays some correct moves here. Ooh, that was maybe one of them. Take with the rook. If black really planned bishop c5 at the end, my kudos. That is a nice little nuance. So I'm going to try to step. I'm going to sidestep. Let's see if black doubles down now. Knight b4. Knight b4 I think will be a mistake. But I'm giving black an opening. Ooh, much better move. Or is it? I can take here. Maybe not better at all. They walked out of one alignment, but into another alignment. When one door closes, another opens. Hello, Chess Fiend's friend. Thank you for joining us. Hello, Nikhil. All right. So I'm looking to drop a bomb here once again. It's not working yet, though. Let's try this. Now this is a threat. Covers. Good move. Oh, yes, you should. Watch, learn, hang out, try to exploit my blunders that I'm making. I've made some mistakes already today, for sure. I never get through elite chess plays without mistakes. All right, let's take. Plan for the endgame. That big endgame advantage. Let's just be patient here. G3, get rid of any back rank issues. I want to go here, but it allows bishop e5. So let's go here. Black's pretty tied down in this position. I'm thinking I can maybe do this. Looks tough to meet that plan. If here I take this one. Yeah, a couple of people have asked that, Chevy Levita. None in particular. I'm just hopping around. Mostly the chess.com and chess24 ones. I've heard Levitov chess is good. I think on Levitov chess, they're commenting in English, as far as I understand, even though it's a Russian site. Maybe someone can confirm. All right, let's just push the pawns now. I don't really care about this pawn. Oh, both Russian and English. Okay. English commentaries with Svidler and Kramnik. Who's doing the Russian commentary? Yeah, thank you for the game. So you're probably doing fine in this one. I think around here you should probably play a move like bishop d6. That's what I would have done to try to block up the file. It might lose a pawn back eventually, but that's probably okay. Rook d8 is interesting because rook d8, it appears to allow bishop takes f7, right? But then black can play rook takes f7, and on queen takes, say we get this trade, there's check at the end with the discovery here, and it's black who's winning. So if you planned that when you played rook d8, well done, because that's rather subtle. This type of thing, like maybe black didn't plan that, but it doesn't matter. But yeah, king h1, again here, looks like you're okay, but some care is needed. Suggesting various bishop moves. I would still think bishop d6 is pretty legit. Also helps you defend f7, but mainly to block the d file. Queen f5, though, that did allow this bishop take c7 move. Then it was downhill from there. Thanks for the game. Tough one. Cartman's Ghost. Good luck. We have a 1500 with a question mark. Always scary. Ooh, 2150 correspondence over 12 games. I got to be careful, but we've played before. Okay, someone wanted to see a check Benoni, so let's try to get that. Let's try to make it happen. I always get check Benoni and Schmid Benoni confused. Is check Benoni... Well, now it won't matter because white played this move. Is check Benoni d4, c5, d5, e5? Or is it with knight f6 first? I always get those two versions confused. Okay, let's play e6. So this is a Kali or a Cole. Yeah, I do look over at the YouTube comments from time to time. I'm monitoring Twitch more actively since we typically have more viewers on Twitch. But 200 plus of you on YouTube, which is great to see. So shout out to the YouTube crew. All right. Let's play bishop e7. We're just going to be patient here. Castle. I like my light square bishop, but white might put a pawn on e4 at some point, so they may try to neutralize it. Hey, Tony. Tony says, I thought the Schmid Benoni was like a modern Benoni without c4 in. I'll have to check that out. I'm not quite sure of the distinction. I thought one, because I know when I used to play the Benko, and the game would go like d4, knight f6, knight f3, I would sometimes play c5, then white would play d5, and it would be tagged as the Schmid Benoni. That's often what it was called. So I think that's probably the case. The Schmid Benoni is with knight f6 and without c4 for white. Is that what you said? Yeah, I think you're right about that. And the check is probably the c5, e5 approach. I don't know in the check Benoni if it matters if the knight has gone to f6 yet or not for it to be determined like a check Benoni. Chess naming conventions are weird, right? Okay, let's take here. Now, white might be able to play e5 in that position. I was thinking about this domino sequence if that were to occur, but takes with the knight instead. All right. I don't know how many trades I want to allow, so I think I might just play here. Continue developing. Tony says yes, and the check is something like d4, knight f6, c4, c5, d5, e5. Okay. So in that version, the knight is already on f6. All right, knight goes back. So there's a bit of a battle around the e4 square taking place. I don't really want to take because that allows white to unwind a little bit. So I'm thinking here. Got to watch Greek gift style stuff too. So if e5 here, it's nice that my bishop helps to guard g5. Let's keep the tension for a move or two. Someone in the chat said, hey, Ben, what is the eval on Traxler counterattack right now? Is it lost for black? Are you confusing me with Ben Feingold? But as far as the eval on the Traxler, good question. I actually don't know. I think white's better, but I don't think the Traxler has been refuted. Well, the biggest difference between Ben and I is that Ben's a GM and I'm an IM. Aside from him being, significantly older than me, that is the biggest difference. He's a GM, I'm an IM. Okay, gotta be careful here. Let's go h6. What's the age gap? I want to say Ben's around 50, right? Does that sound about right? I'm 35. I'm also getting up there. I'm getting on in years. Oh, aggressive. All right. I like it. I like the spirit. So is he going to take, check, and then bishop takes? Because that's pretty rad if he does. All right. I'm going to entertain this idea. I must. Otherwise, I'm just down a pawn. Hold. This is crazy. Do I take? I don't think I should take that one. I'm going to go here. I think if I take that one, it probably opens up my king a little bit too much. So I'm going to play a counterattacking move and have my queen maybe swing over. Knight on f8, there is no mate. Remember that. Time-honored chess wisdom. Let's go here. This square's guarded, right? So no worries. attacking. Time is the biggest factor now, though. Cartman's Ghost loses on time. Interesting sacrifice, though. I give you that, my friend. Very interesting. Let's see what the Oracle says. The Oracle says maybe black's better, but interesting. Actually wants you to go queen g4 here, or knight h5. That's tough because queen h5, that's the only move I was looking at as well. It looks so consistent. But I could see how this is a position where changing up the move order or the way in which you attack makes sense. Let's see this position. Bishop takes. So it actually does want black to take. Engine's cold-blooded. Man, this looked a little suspicious. Take with knight h5 coming in. Even if there's no immediate threat, because I have all those squares covered. On a visual level, this looks dangerous for black. But the engine says, nah, you're good. Oh, of course, because of bishop h4, yeah. Bishop h4 guarding the g7 square laterally and just sticking the bishop on an undefended square. Yeah, minus 2.5. Of course. Mess of a position. As played, bishop c5, sufficient, but you have compensation now if you play queen g4. But again, with time pressure, probably I'd rather be black here with time pressure, to be honest. Queen g4, I could see how that's nice, though, because you put pressure here and you allow for knight h5. A lot of attacking when you've made a sacrifice like this is getting multiple pieces into the fray. More pieces, more pressure. Typically 3 pieces or more is ideal if you're going to make a sacrifice like that. It's pretty obvious, John. Yeah, bishop h4. Very obvious. It does make sense once you get to that position and someone like literally tells you what you need to look at. Like, okay, watch queen g7. Also, you got to watch knight f6. So that solves both issues. Okay. We're motoring right along here. Real Tony. Tony Rotella, is this you? Did we find your alt account on Lichess? I know you're Tony Rotella. But we played before. I'm on to you, Tony. This actually might be Fit Tony from my chat. Let's play e6 here. Ooh, Catalan. Catalan action. All right. Should I, once again, try to play like Nepo? Maybe. Maybe. Take. Oh, but knight c3. Okay, knight c3. I think this is supposed to be a little sus. Let me see if I can demonstrate why. It is a move. I know it is a move, but I don't think it's supposed to be good. Don't you just love it when title players say that? Like, that's going to help them in any way? Like, casting a moral opinion about the line? Like, I don't think you're supposed to do that. I don't know why you're not supposed to do that, but I'm just going to let you know. Let's play. I don't know. I really don't. I mean, a6, knight e5, I guess, is the thing here. I could play knight bd7, maybe. That might be a way to try to refute this. All right, let's do that. Just to introduce the idea of knight b6. What's the plan? Okay, we'll go a6. There's also Tony Bro. Oh, yeah. Wish you had scooped that one and you had the chance, right? Tony Bro. Okay, now we'll play h6. I don't want a piece coming to g5. I'm going to go here now. We're going to try to guard this pawn. I think reasonable compensation for white. I definitely prefer my position, but practical compensation in a blitz game for real Tony. K. Buckby says, someday my chess skill will be at a level where I can say, I think this is supposed to be a little sus, right? Hello, Dr. S. Asking, ever going to pursue becoming a GM? Perhaps in the future, not at the moment. No immediate plans. Okay. So Maybe white is employing an idea kind of like I mentioned in the Catalan. Maybe this bishop will come here. B4 can't be played because I am guarding that square a couple times, but I wouldn't be surprised to see bishop A5, and then I'm going to go queen E8. Okay, no bishop A5 played. Let's go here. This is fundamentally a move black loves to achieve in a lot of these Catalan accepted lines. This is a backward pawn. You want to advance it. You want to get rid of it. Trade it for the D pawn. One of the best GMs ever, Tony Miles. Yeah, Tony Miles. Phenomenal talent. What an original player. Rest in peace, Tony Miles. If you guys like chess biographies, autobiographies, check out his biography called It's Only Me, which is an anagram of Miles's name. It's Only Me. It was put together after his death. He died quite young. Really enjoyable read. That's up there with one of my favorite chess biographies. Oh, is that right? BD Gambit's here? Nice. Okay, now my position's coming to life. I've got the pressure on F2. This is looking real good. No threats against my king have materialized. Still can blunder, though, like something like that. I feel like I might want to trade the dark square bishops. Even though earlier I wasn't keen to do that, I think it's time to trade them now. So I can eventually get these rolling, and this bishop is just kind of controlling my knight. Bunch of squares, so let's get rid of it. Ah, Planinich. I don't know much about Planinich. Or Planich. Did the Christmas tree eat the pumpkin? Yeah, I had to retire the pumpkin. It was getting too far out. It was no longer socially acceptable. We were too far out of Halloween. That's probably a good clip, Richter's neighbor. I have not read the Anand files. I've heard it's good. Queen A5 there was possible, by the way. I've heard the Anand files is quite good. Okay. So just trying to convert this advantage. I've got the bathtub structure over here. It's doing a good job of keeping out the enemy. Should I take? I don't know. Take. There's take here at the end. But I have pressure on F2, so I think that's good. Let's do it. I got to hurry too. Long range threat. Let's bring this down now. I'm going to try for this and this. Ooh, check. And then take. And this is mate, actually. Rook was hanging, but no need. There's checkmate. Thank you for the game reel, Tony. Interesting line that you played. I'm kind of curious what the book says here. So, yeah, normally Queen C2 is played like we just saw in the World Championship, going after the pawn. So, Queen C2 or Queen A4. So, Knight C3, more gambity. No guarantee you're going to get the pawn back anytime soon. Looks like black usually plays Knight C6. Knight BD7, as I played, also played a fair amount. Black scores pretty well there. I think white has some compensation, though, that's for sure. Reminds me of a lot of lines like in the semi-Slav, like Geller Gambit style, almost. But I think probably like this stage of the game is critical. Because somehow, as played, I was able to get C5 in pretty much unopposed. So, yeah, rook E1 you probably don't have time for. Engine wants you to play Knight C5, which makes sense because that blocks up the C file. It'll make it tougher for me. Some interesting comments here in the Lichess chat. The real Wild Wild West. The spectator room on Lichess. All right. Vexamu. Let's play. Should I play this game? Let's play a bird. I'm out of book. I've never seen this position before. Let's play E4. I'll play it like a Grand Prix attack, maybe. Maybe we get some sort of Sicilian type flavor in the position. My opponent's going for a double. I offered a chance for black to occupy the center, but he said no. I would prefer to double fianchetto, which is fair. Isn't it the frog or the grob? The grob is g4 on move 1. I like the frog, though. We should create... Is there a frog opening? To continue the tradition of openings named after animals, often being dubious. Okay, f5 looks thematic here. I got to play this. Ooh, don't tempt me. Don't tempt me, Vexamu. I don't think I quite have the ingredients for the attack yet, so let's go here. We're going to season the pot a little bit more. If you grab here, though, get ready for some fireworks. I think already the position is looking pretty tough for black. Various ideas converging. The grob is sus. Yeah, the grob is one of the worst moves white can play on move 1, objectively. I think it's close between f3 and g4 as being the worst moves white can open with. Frog can be knight f3, knight d4, knight b3. I like that. Yeah, the frog like jumping around with the knights. There should be an opening called the frog. I mean, doesn't that stand to reason? It's just... I loved frogs when I was a kid. I still like frogs a lot. But frogs were one of my favorite animals when I was a kid. I always would catch them in the neighborhood. Tree frogs in particular. But sometimes branching out to toads as well. Thank you, Vexamu, for the game. Yeah, they resigned because it was mate in 2 coming up. So I think you got to keep this diagonal firmly blocked. When I played f5, I can see why you took, because you were probably hoping to get some attack here, but it unblocks my bishop. So if I were you, I would have played d5 right at this moment. Throw up some roadblocks in the position. Well, okay, the engine actually says it's fine, but the eval's already pretty good. I mean, to me, he takes e5, he takes f5. Okay, it still wants you to go d5. So as long as you play that here, you might be all right. That too makes sense. Try to swap everything on this square. And some play for white for sure. A lot of stuff that black needs to deal with, but definitely try to keep this closed towards your king whenever possible. Does that mean you like eating frogs or as an animal? No. I've never had frog's legs or anything like that. Okay, thanks Vexamu for the game. High chess 98. Let's do this. Or Hawaii chess, maybe? Okay, we'll play a main line here. Let's see what they have in mind. Grunfelder, King's Indian. What's it going to be? King's Indian. Okay. Maybe I will play the Samisch. The Samisch. Interesting. All right, let's play d5. And then I'm going to go bishop e3. Maybe an early g4. Play queen d2 first, though. Very tempted to play a quick g4. So is h5, though. I'm torn. Let's try it. Let's try it. I'm playing maximalist here. I'm trying for knight g3. Getting in knight g3 is, I think, a pretty nice move. In fairness, black can still play h5 if they want. Black's kind of digging in here on the queen side. This could be a longer, like, maneuvering type game. But we'll see. I do know Michael Bassman. Yeah. Yeah. That's a unique player as well. The English chess tradition produces a lot of these unique chess personalities. Okay. So is my opponent going to castle queenside? Maybe. Let's play b3. Just to, if ever a4 is played, be able to play b4 in reply. Or f8. Okay, so I think they're indicating they're going to try for f6 or f5, which makes a lot of sense. Could always try this. I'm not thrilled about it, though. I would like to maybe keep my light square bishop for the future. Let's castle. Even though I made some pawn moves over here, the position's so closed, I'm not that worried about my king safety. Yep, I do play bullet from time to time. Yeah, I play a lot of the arenas. Okay, now, I feel like eventually I want to do this and this. I think I'm going to be trying to play on the queen side. I don't really want to take the knight. The bishops are too strong here, so I'm not going to take the knight. I don't know if this is the right plan for me, however, because they can get the knight in d4. That's an interesting way to play it. I'm thinking now I might actually want to take. I think I will. Takes with that pawn. Okay. All right. Fair. I'm going to take here. So I'm up a pawn, but I absolutely need to keep their dark square bishop out of the game. Very, very important. Let's play d6 now. I'm going to open it, but only down the middle, not that dark square diagonal. Trade, trade. And now I think it's time for the light square bishop to get involved in the action. Bishop h3. Not going to take this yet. Just going to let things develop. Rook d8 would be a natural move, but that would blunder because I take, and then I can take the bishop. Black would be overloaded with this rook. So, interesting position. Feels better for white, though. I do like my setup here. Now, bishop d7, or do I take the file first? I think bishop d7 is pretty compelling. Trade would be good here. This looks very strong, actually. I think black's in big trouble. These minor pieces just don't play. I mean, my knight over here is not playing, but this knight is. This knight could be used in a mating attack, which might happen. Now, if black goes there, then rook coming over. And this one, I think, probably here. Do I take the file first? Let's take the file first. Let's really just emphasize how tough it is for black to make a move. It's like, legitimately, what does black do here? If this rook moves, they might lose this. If they push the pawn, they would lose this. Neither of these pieces, I mean, bishop h8 is playable, I guess. Yeah, I have almost unlimited time to prepare my attack here. Now when I go here, threatening this, black will have to go back. Then I'll have knight c7 at minimum. It's too much. Knight c7 almost feels like selling out too cheap here. I want my other knight involved. Let's maneuver. I don't know where I'm going to send this, but I'm going to maneuver somewhere. Okay, but now I can take this one. Maybe I'll just double now. The knight is coming to an annoying post, though. Oh, I get the doubling in. Mate threat. Yeah, that was just too little counterplay for black after d6, I think, was played. Thank you for the game. Pretty interesting one. I guess here you might want to take with the b pawn instead of the d pawn, would be my thought. I mean, you could block the d6 idea by playing queen d6 in this position. Check the engine real quick. Once again, I give this caveat from time to time, but I'm using the engine a lot. We don't have time for extensive analysis on the games. We're moving pretty quick here, but if I were interested in trying to learn more from this, then I would definitely use the engine later and even more selectively. But for a quick review, especially of key moments when you already have a few things in mind, it's pretty helpful. Yeah, the engine says b4 here. I didn't want you to go knight b3 followed by knight d4, though. So it says this is also okay. d6. It's interesting. Queen takes is better. I don't understand the difference. I guess this gives me a few more options. If I don't take the pawn, that's what the engine's saying. Yeah, interesting. As played, does not want you to take on a4. Which, by the way the game's shaped up, I can understand, because like once we get here, I'd say you're already pretty tied down. So, yeah, thank you for the game. Okay, Schrodinger's queen. I have lost to this player before. Yes. I think I lost them in like I don't remember what. All right, so we got to be on our game here. Good opponent. Let's play a classical Sicilian. Oh, thank you, No Joke Chess. No Joke Chess just banned 3 users on Twitch. 4, 5 now, 6, 7. He's on a roll. 8, 9. Keep going, No Joke Chess. He's banning bots, by the way. YouTube viewers. Oh, we're getting attacked on YouTube as well. Look at that. I glance over. There's spam going there, too. Monka S. No Joke Chess says, out of bullets. Oh, you did a good job. That was a massacre. Oh, my. I looked over. People were just... Users were falling left and right. No joke with the chair from the top rope. You love to see it when the users are just there to create problems. Yeah. You can't even really call them users. They're bots, aren't they? Let's go here. This is an interesting position shaping up. I got the dark square bishop. I kind of like playing with this pawn structure. It has its issues, but this pawn structure is rather interesting. There's actually a game from the European Team Championship between Hovhannissian and Maxime Lagarde. Robert Hovhannissian of Armenia versus Maxime Lagarde in the classical Sicilian, featuring this structure. Very instructive game that Hovhannissian eventually won with the white pieces, but it was sharp. Okay, so I don't know if I'll play h4 anytime soon. I'm liking the pressure I have down here on c2, maybe c3. Might throw this in, might park the king on e7 at some stage. Just laughing at this chat. Too funny. All right, should I play this move? I feel like this is pretty useful. But again, I think c4 might be coming. I might actually want to go here. Might be time to put the queen in and try to block the c4 move altogether. It's looking good. I've got the pressure on f3. By the way, I haven't seen any subs today. Apologies if I missed any notifications. Lichess doesn't push this at all. But if you do subscribe and support the channel, everything goes to the efforts of keeping Lichess running. Paying their expenses, which are fairly minimal, but it does cost money to run the number 2 chess site in the world, which is a completely free and open source project. Always will be free. So if you ever feel compelled, I'm sure they appreciate it. Should I sack the exchange? I don't think so. Let's just back off. Rook c7. And then I'm going to go king e7. Probably time to throw this move in just so knight takes h5 doesn't hurt me. But king e7 coming for sure. Yeah, really nice position, I think, this one. I got a lot of pressure that's tough for white to deal with. Beautiful knight. If take, the knight on d4 is going to be driven away from the defense. Oh, yes. I meant number 2 as in like traffic-wise. But I know for many of you, yes, Lichess will be number 1 in your hearts. No doubt. And now here should be quite strong. This is collapsing for white. Could take immediately, but I think it's even better to take this way because, like, where is that knight going to go? E2 is the only move, and then boom, shakalaka. Boom goes the dynamite. Okay, thanks for the game, Schrodinger's Queen. Yeah, I think that just worked out well after bishop takes f6. I don't know about this knight e2 move. I haven't seen that version of it. Usually if white plays knight e2, they're doing it with take on c6 and then here to kind of recycle the knight towards d4. Yeah, it looks like this has hardly ever been played. One game. But I think somehow it creates some problems for you in the center with this knight and this knight being competing knights for the d4 square. That's my read. Okay. So thanks for the game. We got time for maybe 2 more games. Let's do one regular and then one you know what. Good luck, Morrow, if you're there. Awesome. Let's play King's Gambit. We were talking about King's Gambit. Let's give it a shot. Now, you don't want to decline the King's Gambit with f6. Okay, glad Morrow didn't do that. But that would be ill-advised. It would lead to problems after takes, queen h5. Yeah, come to think of it, I believe if the King's Gambit were played by Nepo, Magnus would take the pawn and then try to hold on to it. I think that's highly likely, actually. Okay, let's go d4. 2 pawns in the middle. Bishop takes f4, opened up. That's right, Duffman. And this is well known, but the engine absolutely despises the King's Gambit for white. I think Jan Gustafsson, he wrote a e4, e5 course for black. So he covers the King's Gambit. And he talks about how the engine prefers like something like 10 different moves on move 2 over f4. It likes stuff like h3, a3, b3. Anything that doesn't lose a pawn is like better than f4 in the engine's eyes. Hey, a youthful porpoise. I have not lost today. No. Hasn't been too many close calls. A couple tough games, but no like real close calls, I would say. I have blundered, though. It was even more moves? Oh, like 15 moves or more? I know. There's still time to blunder. So we still got 10 minutes in the stream. Moose Mind on YouTube. Yes, anyone can play me. That's right. You just need to be a Lichess user. You can challenge me. Fins, F-I-N-S. I'm only going to be taking probably one more game after this, though, for today. Chipotle check. I already got my Chipotle today. I already had lunch. Yeah. Okay, take. Black's opening up this for me. They're going to take with a queen, but take and maybe bishop back to e4. Oh, they don't take with a queen. I thought for sure they would take that pawn, but although they defended that, they lost the knight instead. Oh, thanks, Stuff Man. It's very comfy. King's Gambit is boring? Oh, my. I will tell you, for such an aggressive gambit, like a romantic gambit, maybe I don't have the instincts for it, but I find the King's Gambit kind of hard to attack with. You know? Compare it to something like the Evans Gambit, maybe a Scotch Gambit or Danish, or Smith-Morra, if we want to go even in non-E4, E5 gambits. I just find it kind of like awkward to attack with. Maybe because white is gambiting the pawn so early and there's no development yet. but I don't really know why that's the case. Okay, Morrow, thank you for the game. Just resigns in this position. A little bit early resignation, but yeah, I think they realized their mistake at this point. Got to hunker down here. Maybe play a move like h6. But truthfully, this is a tough position for black facing those pawns in the middle. So if you guys want a simple line against the King's Gambit, we were kind of talking about it earlier. But f4 on move 2, if you don't even want to take it, again, taking is best. It's the most principled move, but there is theory. Bishop c5, I believe, is a very simple and good line. Because the point is, this is not actually a threat yet due to queen h4. Queen h4 is killer. And if you were to play this at amateur level, you'll probably have this in a fair amount of games, honestly, where white blunders into this. But yeah, black's just winning here. And even if they play knight f3, which is one of the best moves, black can play d6. And they've developed the bishop outside of the chain. Knight c6 is coming. Again, if takes. Queen h4 check is a problem for white. White shouldn't do that. So white can play c3 here. I mean, there's still theory. You can see this has been played a lot. But that's just a simple line if you're looking for something that kind of makes sense and you don't have to remember a whole lot of theory. Okay. Yeah, it might be time for us to close the spectator room because people are writing stuff that is not appropriate. I think we probably should play the last game. I think we should do that. Oh, I got to make my preparations. Piece set. There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. You guys know the drill. Final game of the session is always the Bongcloud with the horsey set. And I'm playing a 1900. Let's see what happens. All right. The orthodox Bongcloud. The classical Bongcloud with e4, e5. Oh! And a very aggressive move. Right off the top. Okay. Let's go d3. We're going to guard. No queen takes e4 checkmate. None of that. Oh. All right. So you want to attack. Fine. Bring it. I will allow you to. They're really trying to get through. Now I can block with the bishop on queen takes e4. Now, I'm a fan of the Scandinavian. You guys know this, but black has made a lot of moves with the queen already. Let's see how this pans out. If bishop g4, I'm going to play knight f3. I must, because f3 is going to run into that. I mean, I could also play this if I really wanted to. Would be kind of a funny move, but I think knight f3 is a better idea. Yeah, black is playing maximum attack here. And now, king back, queen b4, I suppose. Take, queen d4 maybe. Could play queen d3, but queen d3 is kind of lame, so let's go here. Oh, Kinjuk on Twitch says, no faith in me, says, I think you will go down this game, John. I don't think so. I'm feeling good about this, especially when they blunder their queen. You jinxed them, Kinjuk. Oh, boy. You really did. All right, let's play one more. We can't end on that game. This is a rare double feature of the Bongcloud horsey game. One more. Okay, J-Knight, 2000. And I'm black. If they play d4, it's maximum difficulty. Okay. Still could be max difficulty. Especially that move. A lot of people do not take the pawn here. Surprised that. Yeah, like d4. I think a lot of e4, e5, and then knight f3 players forget that this pawn is actually under attack a lot. I mean, not that this is a bad move as well, but that is a free pawn. Oh, what is this time control? Yeah, what the? Oh, man, I didn't notice. Thanks for alerting me. I can confidently say I've never played a 1.5 minute game, let alone with a 3-second increment. How often do you have this challenge option? Always the final game of the session. 3+3 berserked. Not even, though, because with a berserk, the increment goes away. Remember. Okay, now I must be careful because of this. Let's go queen d7, shall we? Maybe here coming up. None, Z Nation. I'm just doing it for the love of the game. Okay, this is an interesting move. I feel like I should do something active in reply here. Like maybe knight e5. I got to make a decision quick, though. Let's try it. Leaves this potentially hanging. But I'm going to try for some complications. Guards this. And attacks the bishop. So that's the main point. Ooh, castles. Yeah, I think queen takes b7 probably was the best move. I'm going to go here. Pretty much forces a queen trade. I'm going to take with a pawn. There we go. Okay. Let's block their bishop. And rook there. I was going to bring my king to f6. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to happen. I might still get the king activity going. King d6 I can see being a move. But nah, I should probably go back to d8, like if I get checked. Yeah, this rook is looking at me. That's right. John, have you ever played against Sagar Shah and Gotham? I have played against Levy. I have not played against Sagar Shah, to my knowledge. And against Levy, I played just like Arena Kings Blitz on chess.com a couple years ago. Never an OTB game or anything. Okay, we're going to have a time scramble. This is looking good for me, though, I got to say. This bishop is kind of in prison. I don't want to take it even. He desperately wants to like take on d5 or something. That's probably a good move. Maybe I can keep this bishop still out of the game, though. If I go here now. Still looks legit. Okay, let's take. And now a5. Threatening a4. We're in the endgame. He's going to try to gradually get it out. But I feel like this must be better for me still. The rook's eyeing up the pawn, quite literally. But lo and behold, it's defended. Okay, if I take, he wants to go here. I'm tempted to try to catch him in a pre-move, king d7. I think this is probably a good move because this pawn seems like a goner long term. Knight e4 being a threat. Because if c4, that drops the bishop. So this bishop remains poorly placed. Nah, that's too much. I can't allow that. Okay. Step here. I'm really taking away like all counterplay in this position. I'm inspired by Magnus. Oh, and he gets forked. That was kind of some nice knight domination at the end, though. I feel like Magnus would approve of that. He's really good at taking away his opponent's counterplay and just gradually converting. So thanks for the game, Jay Knight. I do believe you could have played a little more aggressively in the opening. Again, remember, you can take this pawn. That is the threat after knight f3. As played, I felt like, yeah, queen takes b7 is probably the move in this position because I would probably have to play queen c6 there. Yeah, knight e5 is probably actually just bad. King d8 is what I originally wanted to do, but it does drop that pawn. So I was trying to find some way to create some problems, maybe defend here. But queen takes b7 looks pretty good. Now, so we only do 3-minute games, but I just didn't notice that this was a 1.5 plus 3. But thanks for the game, Jay Knight. And thanks to everyone for playing today. As always, I very much appreciate it. This was Lichess Plays. 2 hours of Blitz at 3+0. World Championship edition. Nice to talk about the World Championship with you guys. Remember, tomorrow's a rest day, so no World Championship game. But I will actually also be out of town next week, I guess I should mention. So I will probably not be doing Lichess Plays for another week and a half to 2 weeks. I'll talk to No Joke Chess about it, though. We'll see what we can get on the schedule. So you guys enjoy the next week or so. Yeah, enjoy those games between Jan and Magnus. Looks like we're going to raid Murcia Talu. Enjoy the rest of your day as well. And I'll see you guys again soon. Thanks again, everyone, on Twitch as well as YouTube. See you guys later.